Well, our top story, it is D-Day for the UK Prime Minister Theresa May. The British Parliament is set to vote on her Brexit deal today, and May has urged lawmakers to back her deal, saying that rejection of Brexit agreement would amount to subversion of democracy. Listen in.
And if rather than leaving with no deal, this House blocked Brexit, that would be a subversion of our democracy, saying to the people we were elected to serve that we were unwilling to do what they had instructed. So I say to members on all sides of this House, whatever you may have previously concluded, over these next 24 hours, give this deal a second look.
And earlier, the opposition had warned Theresa May of a general election if her deal is rejected by the House of Commons. In a heated debate in Parliament, leader of the opposition and Labour lawmaker Jeremy Corbyn accused Theresa May of making zero efforts to work with Parliament. Jeremy Corbyn also said that the Brexit deadlock was leading the country towards a snap poll.
It's clear what we are voting on this week is exactly the same deal we should have voted on in December. I'm sure the Prime Minister knows this. That is why today she's trying to blame others for this chaos. Given the lack of support for the Prime Minister's deal, you might have thought she would try to reach out to MPs. Instead, the Prime Minister is claiming that by failing to support her botched deal, members are threatening to undermine the faith of the British people in our democracy. Mr. Speaker, the only people who are undermining faith in our democracy is the government itself. It's clear, if the Prime Minister's deal is rejected tomorrow, it's time for a general election. It's time for a new government.
And different voices are emerging from within the government, with some members of the Conservative Party backing their leader's deal, while others are opposed to the idea.
Minister, is the Prime Minister's deal heading for defeat?
Certainly hope not, no.
If it is defeated, will the Prime Minister resign?
I certainly hope not, no. She's the right Prime Minister, and I hope the deal gets through. That's the most important thing today.
Are you worried we're heading for a no deal?
Yes, I am against no deal. I am for the Prime Minister, and I am for the withdrawal agreement today. And as the Daily Mail editorial said today, we need to put our country first.
I think the Prime Minister will make her case this evening to all my colleagues with force and eloquence, and I think there's no question of the Prime Minister resigning. The Parliamentary Party voted that they had confidence in her last year. I believe the Prime Minister is doing the right thing. I believe she should continue to lead the party in the country.
Against the withdrawal agreement because it keeps us potentially in a customs union without an end date, divides up the United Kingdom between Northern Ireland and Great Britain, and pays $39 billion for nothing in return. People voted to leave. They didn't vote for a deal, they voted to leave. And this deal doesn't actually make us leave cleanly.
And we're joining us to talk a little bit more about this, Mandy Clark, who joins us now from London, and also Kevin Ospick, who is joining us now from, Brussels as well. And thanks very both for joining us with that. Now, Mandy, first to you. Now, what are the options now for Theresa May? She has been yielding carrots and sticks both for, the opposition and her own party. But what really happens, because all predictions are suggesting she's going to lose that vote?
Yeah, in all likelihood, she will lose the vote. They just simply do not have enough MPs to back the deal. That has been clear for a long time. Now, there was this one amendment that was in the offing. It's been withdrawn, but that amendment could have forced a no deal not from happening, which would have ended essentially the possibility of Brexit. That has been withdrawn. So there's been lots of chopping and changing. All we can expect now is there will be a vote on her deal. It doesn't look like she's going to pass. The Speaker of the House of Commons says she has to come back with a new solution in 3 days' time, that she can't just let it run out to a no-deal scenario. Now, will there be a general election, as Jeremy Corbyn is calling? That seems unlikely, and it is a distraction because Jeremy Corbyn himself supports Brexit, doesn't support a second vote. And the second vote, a second referendum, wouldn't necessarily mean that the voting intentions has changed and people would now support remaining. So that is a distraction. What happens now is the vote. in all likelihood she'll lose, and she'll have to come up with a new solution.
Right, Mandy, stay with us. Also with us from Brussels is Jack Parrick. Forgive me, Jack, earlier on for mistaking you for Kevin. Now, Jack, well, the European Union, of course, has come up with some sort of assurances, but are they enough for Theresa May and her government?
Well, that's what we'll have to see. Firstly, it's a compliment to mistake me for my esteemed friend and colleague Kevin Ozebek. But here in Brussels, what they've done essentially is release this letter to try and give Theresa May some sort of assurances, to try and show that this Irish backstop issue, this insurance policy that means that there will be no hard border on the border of Ireland, but on the island of Ireland, that will not happen in the case that there is no trade deal agreed between the European Union and the UK after the end of the transition period, which is in place as part of this withdrawal agreement. Now, they have tried their best to show that there is some assurances, to show that the European Union does not want that backstop in place. But what they write here is, we're not in a position to agree anything that changes or is inconsistent with the withdrawal agreement. As far as they've gone, they feel like they've gone as far as they can. They've said repeatedly that the deal that's on the table is the only one available. Right, so there are many red lines there from the European Union, certainly. And Mandy, very quickly then, we are hearing that stock markets are piling up, also supermarkets are piling up stocks, and stock markets are not been doing very well, also going up and down with what happens with the Brexit deal. So just run us through all of that.
Yeah, so what Britain has failed to do properly is really prepare for a no-deal scenario, and we are heading further and further into that territory. Really, we've got 2 months to go before that, so we are seeing stockpiling of food, stockpiling of vital medicines. The health minister says he is the purchaser of the largest fridges in the country because of this need for to be prepared for a no-deal situation. And of course, business hates volatility, and there has been so much instability. We are seeing the stock markets all over the place. If the New Deal situation goes ahead, we can expect more volatility, because it certainly it's going to be a bumpy road ahead. And a lot of businesses, even the government, really haven't put a lot of practical solutions in place for that no-deal scenario. And we're seeing that preparation, but it's a bit late now with just 2 months to go.
Well, absolutely, Mandy and Jack Parrick, thanks very much indeed both for joining us with the latest there. We are counting down, in fact, to that Brexit deal. Thanks both for joining us.